Are your dog's paw pads dried and cracked? Because that's something that I've been struggling with a little bit with my dog Lucy, but a lot with poor Gemma, because Gemma has extreme allergies. And while we're working with her vet, I've also been testing out different products to see what can heal her feet a little bit better. I've given you tons of recommendations. You can actually check them out in our grooming playlist. I'll link that for you. Right now, we've kind of settled into working with Dandylion Soft Paws, and there are pros and there are cons to these. Now, the cons is that it doesn't quite work as good as some of the other products. It doesn't heal it as fast. It's not as soft, but the pros are kind of outweighing the cons, especially once I break down all the things for you. So here's the deal. This is made up in Canada and it is vet dermatologist approved. So they have tested this out. It is for sensitive skin. It doesn't have extra scents in it. Thank goodness, because both Gem and I are highly allergic to everything. And this is going to be something that is okay for them to lick if they do end up licking or chewing their feet after you put it on it. Of course, they shouldn't consume a ton of it. So after you put this on your dog's feet, make sure you sit with them, hold them still, don't let them gnaw at it, let it dry a little bit. But it is made with natural things so that it's not going to be toxic for your dog, which is not necessarily something I can say for all of the other things in terms of ingesting it. It's safe to use it on their skin, but it's not necessarily safe for them to ingest. So you have to be really careful with some of those other things, which is a really big reason I am using this, because I want it to be safe in case they ingest it, especially Gemma. She loves to lick her feet. And so this is going to be good for peace of mind. It also comes in a nice little tube, and when you pull off the top, you will see that there is a makeup brush on the inside, very similar to makeup brushes that we would use on our faces. You will be able to, if you look very closely, there's a couple of little holes in there, and when you press the bottom, it dispenses the lotion up through the brush so you can just brush it onto your dog's feet so that it's easy and soft and gentle to go on. Now, one thing that they don't tell you is that you do need to wash the makeup brush part of this. So every couple of uses, you will need to wash that to keep it clean, to keep the germs away, all of those things. And they don't have that on the packaging. So you have to just magically know it, or you have to magically catch it on their social media, which I've only seen them talk about once. And so you just have to know that you have to clean this off. Also, you can actually take this tube out and just buy the replacements. They do not tell you not to twist the top off. So that's also another thing you just have to magically know. So you can see we've got the dispenser right here. This is how much lotion. I've used a little bit of it. So there's a little bit of lotion in there that you just go ahead and press that button. I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to put it on my dog's feet right now while we're recording, but it'll come out of the end and you're good to go. So then it just has the tube that you can kind of see through and pop it back in and twist it back on. So it's a twist on, twist off. So if you're somebody who goes to twist off a top, the first couple times I did it, I would twist it off and it would come apart and I thought it was broken. So you just have to know, popping straight on and off, do not twist, or it will potentially come off in your hand. So this is really nice because after I am grooming my dog's feet, I am able to put it right on their paw pad. So if you're going to be using this, cannot stress enough that you do need to make sure you're keeping your dog's fur maintained and trimmed. So you need to cut that down so that it's not in the way of the lotion. Otherwise, you're wasting lotion, and this is not necessarily cheap. So you want to make sure you are grooming their feet, clipping their nails, all the things, and then putting this on and keeping that fur low so as it grows out, you still have the space to put this on their paw pads. Like I said, when I put it on my dog's feet, I am holding them, so I am not letting them go until it's dry or mostly dry. And the nice thing about this is that it doesn't leave a greasy residue around your house. So some of the other things I've talked about do. They absolutely do. It's kind of almost like a Vaseline. So it will leave footprints or marks or potentially stain things around your house depending on what you're using. This is designed to not do that. So once it dries, which really doesn't take terribly long, they can walk around, they can do all the things. It's not going to leave any paw prints anywhere. It's not going to stain anything. It is fragrance-free, which is so incredibly nice, and it makes sure that it helps to hydrate dried and cracked and itchy paws. It is non-greasy, lick-safe, pH-balanced, and it is vegan. It's veterinary dermatologist recommended, and all you have to do is click to apply it. It's fragrance-free, and you can actually buy these from their website. You can buy these on Amazon, which I will link down below, and you can also get them at some select pet stores. So this is something that I keep on hand for my girls. When I'm getting low on this, I always have a second one ready to go so I can stay ahead of the game. And I'm not using this every day, but I could use it every day. So depending on what we're doing, how we're doing it, if it's like a miserable, muddy day out, I'm probably not going to put this on their paws. But especially when I see it's starting to get dried and cracked, I am putting that on. In the summer, I use less than in the winter. And you can, because it's safe, you can use this every day if you need to, or a couple of times a day if you really need to. You're going to go through it, but it's definitely helpful. It is not as good as some of the others in terms of making it soft and making it a little bit healthier. It doesn't work as quickly, but with consistency, you can get yourself there. And especially if your dog doesn't have like overly dried and cracked feet, this works really well. So this is good for Ember. This is good for Lucy. This is good for Gemma, but not as good as some of the other things. But the pros of it not being greasy and lick safe and pH balance and dermatologist test and all those other things outweigh how quickly some of the other types work. So this is what we're working with right now. I've used some of their other products as well. If you want to see a review on those, go ahead and let me know. And let me know, have you tried this out? I'm linking it down below for you on Amazon so you can get it quickly, because if you're ordering from their website, it's a little bit slow if you're here in the US. And if you are going to a pet store, they may or may not have it. When I went in, there was one in the entire store, and I bought it because they were just testing it out. So it's hit or miss in the pet stores at this time. So I cannot recommend getting it from Amazon enough, but there are options for you, and you can continue to follow along on our foot care journey for my pups to make sure we are healing Gemma's poor feet up and keeping her nice and healthy. So drop your questions, drop the products that you try that I should also be trying, and we'll see you in the upcoming episodes.